Today I want to speak about a paper recently published in Geography Compass. This paper was co-written with my colleague Luis Pini Peralta. And what we did was to look at the issue of urban primacy. And let me just give you a quick definition. Urban primacy occurs in a country when one city is so much larger than all the other cities. There's been a long tradition of interest in this issue. What are the causes and what are the consequences to a national economy and a national society when one city dominates the national scene? What we did in this paper was to review the literature and to look at recent work which has really used primacy data in quantitative analysis to look at a variety of different variables. We found this a rather unsatisfactory approach, so what we did was we started from first principles. We looked again at the data. Now, the recurring issue is data. It would seem relatively simple to simply get population data for cities around the world and compare them one with another. You would think so, but not the case. It varies. Some countries use cities, some use the extended urban region. They take population censuses at different times. There's different meanings for the term urban. So it's a major problem simply just to collect the data. And we go into this in the paper, but however, we did collect the data. And then we came up with a measure. We looked at the relationship between the size of the largest city to the size of the next two largest cities. In some cases, they're dramatic. The most obvious case, and we use the term hyperprimacy, is the case of Thailand, where the urban region of Bangkok reaches almost 15 million population. The next two cities combined are only 1 million population. In other words, there's this huge imbalance. And the case of Thailand undermines one theory, and that was that primacy is a function of colonialism. Thailand has never been colonized, so there's a different set of processes at work. We also identified primacy across the world. Some examples are from Latin America, Argentina, Chile, Peru. And that would give some credence to the colonial notion, where colonial power was often concentrated in a coastal city. The subsequent national economy then forms around this one big city. It then becomes a centre for not only economic agglomeration, but also the agglomeration of political power and influence. Through time, more and more people move to the city. The same thing occurs in low-income and middle-income African countries. However, it's not simply a case of middle-income or low-income countries. There's a number of European countries, for example, that have this one dominant city. Three examples: Vienna and Austria, Budapest in Hungary, and London in Britain. In the case of both Vienna and Budapest, what you have is fragments of empire, that these cities were much larger than their present countries, because they used to be part of much bigger, broader, more populous empires. The empires have shrunk, and what you're left with is a big city and a small country. In the case of Britain, the primacy is quite marked. Probably close to half of the British population live within commuting distance of London. London is the centre of economic power, political power, cultural power. London really squats on the entire UK economy, and we look at some of the consequences of this. So the paper was an attempt to provide a measure of urban primacy, look at some of its examples around the world, and come up with some explanations. So I hope you enjoy the paper, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. My name is John Rennie Short, and I teach at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. Goodbye.